My name is Jamie. I'm 17 years old and in the 11th grade. My friends and I, let's call them Alex and Jade, were also in the same grade. So we were a little too old for trick-or-treating. We weren't the most popular kids in school either, so we didn't exactly get invited to any Halloween parties, probably since we were the spooky kids at our school and nobody wanted to hang out with us. We didn't mind since we weren't too into doing normie stuff anyways. On the night of Halloween, we texted each other to make plans to meet up at the corner store after school to buy Halloween candy for a sleepover at my house. To be honest, it was a Halloween miracle that they even had any candy bags left over, since it was already October 31st and most people normally bought them up several weeks in advance. We were dressed as classic 80s slashers. Alex was Jason Voorhees, Jade was a gender-swapped Ghostface from Scream, and I was Chucky. We walked up to the cash register, and the cashier was a girl no older than 21. As she was checking us out, I noticed that she had obviously fake, dark-colored eye contact to make her pupils look all black, probably for Halloween. As we left the store, I noticed that she was still staring back at us with those obsidian eyes. I thought nothing of it at the time, and we just rode our bikes back to my house to binge watch the Halloween movies on Netflix. My dad was a salesman away on a business trip, while my mom was a nurse working the graveyard shift at the hospital, so we pretty much had the place all to ourselves. We got to my house, turned the lights on my front porch, and placed a bowl of candy outside so that no one would disturb us during our movie. We raced upstairs into my room, where Alex collapsed onto my bed to put on our first slasher film, Halloween 1978, while Jade poured our extra bag of candy into a large glass punch bowl and brought us each a can of Pepsi to the bed. We were all lying in bed with my dog, Rex, a Great Dane, scoffing down candy, taking Snapchat pics, and downing Pepsis as we began our Halloween marathon. Around 4 movies later, everyone had mostly passed out, until there was a knock at our door. Rex shot up, barking at the sudden loud noise. This woke up Alex and Jade, who looked over at Rex. Then Rex barked a second time, making us all jump. Rex ran downstairs, barking even more aggressively. I checked my phone to see what time it was. 1:45 a.m. It was long past trick-or-treating hours, and I knew none of the kids from my neighborhood would still be out after midnight. I also knew it couldn't be my mom or dad, since they both had a spare house key. If either one of them lost their key, they would just call me to let them in. So I put the TV on mute, and we all went downstairs to check it out. I looked into the peephole to see who it was, but there was no one there. I told Alex and Jade that no one was there, and figured some kids were probably doing a ding-dong ditch, so I shrugged it off. But Rex kept barking at the door nonetheless. I looked over and saw Alex looking through the crack in the curtain of the window facing the front of the house, beside the front door. Jade looked confused, and Alex looked completely mortified. Alex grabbed us both by our wrists and pulled us back into my bedroom, with Rex following us close behind, still barking at the front door. My bedroom was the closest room with a lock on the door, which Alex locked after shutting the door. When Jade demanded Alex tell us what was going on, Alex looked completely pale, like he'd seen a ghost, as he had explained that when I was looking out the peephole, he saw from out the window 3 dark figures standing outside my door. Alex said They looked completely identical to us in every way. So he didn't understand why I couldn't see them out on the stoop. When our doppelgangers turned their heads at the same time to look at Alex from the window, he was so surprised because he thought there was no way they could possibly have noticed him peeking out from such a small crack in the curtain. It was as if the doppelgangers could somehow sense that Alex was staring at them. But what's even more disturbing was that Alex said that when they turned to look at him, their pupils were completely jet black. My heart dropped to my stomach, and I didn't know what to say. Suddenly, Alex's words were cut off by the loud sound of door bursting open downstairs. I turned off all the lights and guided us into my bathroom, where there was another lock on the door. We were all terrified at this point, but Jade had enough sense to grab the glass of candy, emptied it, and brought it in with us. I asked what she was doing. She said if those things got in here, she would crack their heads open with a glass bowl. Indeed, the glass bowl was very hard and heavy. It could easily knock somebody out. We crept into the bathtub, slowly and quietly, closing the curtain behind us as we huddled against the inside of the tub, hugging Rex, who was curled up beside us. I froze when I heard footsteps somewhere outside, coming closer and closer. Frantically, I dialed 911 and told the operator that someone had broken into our house and that my parents were away. The operator asked me for my address, so I told her, and she informed me that a police dispatch would be there shortly. Just as she was about to say something else, I quickly hung up as I heard the doorknob rattling before the door slowly opened. Rex started to whine timidly. Even Rex was terrified. My heart started pounding. The last thing I saw was Jade lifting the bowl over her head as three shadow figures approached the shower curtain. Jade was breathing heavily as her eyes stared at the figures approaching, filled with a fury as adrenaline coursed through her veins. When the curtain was rapidly pulled open, I closed my eyes shut as Alex and I screamed and ran out with Rex tailing right behind us, while Jade cried out at the intruders, lunging the glass punch bowl in their direction. I heard glass shatter. As we bolted down the staircase, we saw flashing blue and red lights out the window and heard the sirens from the police car. Alex pushed the door open, and we were met by two police officers. Alex explained what had happened, talking a mile a minute to the police, until I realized Jade wasn't with us. I turned around to run back into my house, but the female officer held me back, while her partner entered the house, gun drawn. After a few minutes, the cop walked back out, declaring that it was all clear, with no sign of forced entry. I looked at him with wide eyes. Fear quickly turned into anger. I ran past him and into the house. Jade wasn't there. I tried to think what would prove what happened. Then I realized the text. I thought we had a group chat full of messages about planning this with Jade and pictures from tonight. I unlocked my phone and ran back to the cops to show them our text messages and photos from that night. I opened a photo of the three of us took with Rex lying on our bed just a few hours ago. The cop that first went into our house looked pale and shocked as he shot us a surprised look. He told us that he thought he saw this girl in a mirror inside of my house, but he thought he was just seeing things and dismissed it. Then we heard a voice say,
"I'm here."
As we all turned around, Rex started barking timidly when we saw what he was barking at. It was Jade. She was completely pale and expressionless. She looked like she was in a state of shock, but something wasn't right. Rex knew Jade. He was snuggling up next to her in bed, so why was he barking at her? The police chalked it up to a bunch of stupid kids who got freaked out after watching too many horror movies, that it was all in our imaginations. Suddenly, another dispatch came from the cops' radio, and before we knew it, they were gone. We watched as they sped off into their cruiser. Jade, whose demeanor hadn't changed, turned around and walked back into the house. Alex and I just froze in place. Something wasn't right. Alex and I shared a look of confusion as we began to walk back into the house and up the stairs. We walked down the hall and flinched when we saw Jade staring into a mirror. We both looked on in horror as we saw her reflection. It was Jade in the mirror. I mean, the real Jade. She looked terrified, her eyes red like she had been crying. That thing in front of us then turned to face us and said in an eerily calm voice, only it was in my head,
"Don't be afraid."
I heard Alex's breathing get heavier as I struggled to breathe myself.
"You'll be with her again."
Suddenly, my vision turned blurry. Then, everything goes black. I have no doubt that whatever it was paralyzed us with her gaze, causing us both to lose consciousness. The last thing I remembered was the sound of Alex's body hitting the hardwood floor. When I finally woke, my head felt like it had been squeezed in a vice. The only thing I heard was a ringing in my ears. I inspected my surroundings and realized that I am some kind of dark room, but I can only just make out the outline of the items in the room. Then I turned to see what looked like a window. On the other side of the window was a reflection of me looking back at me. Only my eyes are all black. No, it wasn't a window. It was a mirror. My bathroom mirror. When I recognized it, I realized where I was and started to scream. Only no sound was produced from my vocal cords. This was my bathroom mirror. Everything is normal, except I can see everything on the other side of the mirror with the lights on in the room. Then, Jade and Alex walked in front of the mirror, staring back at me. Their eyes, too, were completely black as they stood staring back at me. Then I heard a voice in my head, only it was not Jade's voice. It was another voice. My voice. "Thank you for this vessel. Don't worry, your friends are there with you. You will be together."